For the next 5 days, Edmund and Louise will be taking part in our diet swap experiment, where they'll exchange a typical week's food intake, meal for meal. The swap will be overseen by Dr. Christian Jessen, who's hoping to shock Supersize and Superskinny into changing their bad habits. This week's Superskinny is Louise. She's a waitress whose hectic job means she barely eats to live.
Being a waitress, I'm on my feet most of the day. Whatever I do eat is burnt off pretty much straight away.
When Hartlepool lass Louise does get home, eating's a chore, so her diet's made up of anything bland and quick.
Beans on toast, it's easy. Oven ready meal, that's easy. Soup's easy, anything that's easy and quick.
Sometimes you'd want to shake her and say, come on, Louise, you know, get something down, yeah? But you can't force her. She's got to want to do it for herself.
Louise links her bad dietary habits to early childhood experiences of mealtimes.
On an evening, I'd have cornflakes and avoid having what my mum would cook me. And if she'd sometimes say, you're not moving until you've eaten that. So I'd stick my hands in it, play with it, you know, and then she'd say, well, you can't eat it now, you've had your hands in it, put it in the bin, and that would be my way of getting out of eating.
Louise, I'm Christian. Nice to meet you. How are you?
Okay.
Let's start straight away with the height and weight bits, OK? So take your dressing gown off, stick it on the chair. If you stand on there. You weigh 97 pounds.
At a tiny 6 stone 13, Louise has slipped under what is considered to be a healthy BMI.
What kicked off these bad eating habits that you have?
From a child, I've never eaten much. I've always tried to miss meals when I was a child.
Why was that?
I don't know, I just wasn't a lover of food. Never have been.
And what about the health side of things then?
The health side, I have bad skin, I'm pale, circled under my eyes. I'm always tired.
What would you like to get out of this week?
Change my attitude towards food, have more knowledge about food, and maybe I'd find a love of it and accept that you have to eat.
As Louise fast approaches 30, she's desperate to change. The years of bad eating have left her exhausted, and now they're destroying her self-esteem.
When I look in the mirror, I feel disgusting, really. It's just bones and a young person's body. I don't see a woman. I'm looking to be a mother in the future, and I don't feel mothery. I feel like a kid. So I'm more worried now than I've ever been about my weight. I just think, look, now's the time to change, because if I don't do it now, I never will.
But help is at hand for Louise in the form of Supersize Eddie from Milton Keynes.
378 pounds.
Eddie tips the scales at a whopping 27.5 stone, and he's a ticking time bomb. With a history of high blood pressure in his family, he needs to radically change his diet before it's too late. Biker Eddie's bad diet begins at 6:30 a.m. with a burly breakfast.
A typical day's food for me would usually start with the leftovers from the night before, whether that be rice, noodles, meats. If I have leftovers and there's not quite enough, I'd throw in another packet of noodles just to bulk it up.
If you're having a Chinese takeaway the night before and you think, oh, I'm full, and it'll all get scraped in a bowl and you'll go, ah, lovely, that's breakfast.
Working as an IT programmer gives Eddie an ample excuse to indulge his enormous appetite.
Mid-morning snack, it would be a packet of crisps and some biscuits maybe. And then for lunch, it will be again rice, noodles, meat dish. And then in the afternoon, packet of crisps. And then when I'd get home, a tray of chicken breasts, noodles, and then a glass of wine, maybe a beer.
39-year-old Eddie's been eating this way ever since he can remember.
My mother and father both enjoyed cooking. Grew up in a big family, so therefore food was a big part of the day. We weren't very well off, so we had to have bulk foods. And then as I grew up, as money became better, and we started having things like rice, chicken, and that was a luxury food. So therefore I think because it was such a luxury for me, That's why I eat so much of it now.
Right, Edmund, I've done my sums, and your BMI comes out at 55. Anything above 40 we call morbidly obese because there's a significant risk of disease and actually death as a result of weight. You're very nearly off my scale, which is worrying. You've got high blood pressure?
Yes.
Already diagnosed, and that's something that runs in your family?
Yes, I'm not sure about my mum. She died quite young. But my dad, he had high blood pressure, was diagnosed with hypertension, and so is my older brother and my elder sister.
Your weight is absolutely going to make it 100,000 times worse, and also 100,000 times more likely that you're going to run into problems as a result of having high blood pressure. But I'm hoping that you're slightly aware of that, because that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yes.
Why have you not been able to do anything about it?
Laziness. I think I got into a habit and I didn't see a need to break that habit until now. I know I'm killing myself if I carry on like this.
And as Eddie reaches 40, for him, it's now or never.
It's causing me pain. I can't be comfortable when I'm laying down, seated, standing. I can't walk from A to B without being in constant pain. Being as big as I am at the moment, carrying this much weight, means that I will probably not make another 40 years.
Eddie and Louise are extreme opposites, but they're about to come head-to-head.
I'm Eddie.
Louise, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You're absolutely tiny, look at you. I didn't realise until I met her just how small somebody could be. Yeah, they really are super skinny. It's a tiny little arm.
He's tall and he's quite manly, and I just felt like a little child stood next to him.
It may seem drastic, but swapping diets is the last resort to getting Eddie and Louise to think about their intake of food.
Louise, we're going to start at breakfast. I think that's coffee. Sometimes I think you just have a coffee on its own, don't you? Yeah? Nothing else? Otherwise, it's a bit of toast. Anything on it?
Marge, maybe.
Maybe your lunches are a bit more substantial. That looks like a soup. Half a sandwich? Not a whole, why half a sandwich?
One fills me.
All right, let's have a look at your dinners. Oh, I'm quite surprised by that. Crisps and sweets. Explain yourself, Louise. You can't, can you? Does that strike you as a proper dinner?
No.
No?
No.
Let's have a look at the other things. Oh, look, what a surprise. Another sandwich. How does that look to you now?
Looks enough.
That looks enough. Are you serious? I'll tell you now, as a doctor, this is not a healthy diet. There is no variety. You're getting through about 900 calories a day.
An average woman should consume 2,000 calories. Not only is Louise under-eating, she's also missing out on most of the vitamins and minerals her body requires.
Let's start with breakfast for you, OK? Oh, yum. Now, Edmund, you are the leftover king, aren't you?
Right, yeah.
Tell me about this.
Chili con carne and rice?
From the night before?
Yes.
That looks like scrambled egg on toast. OK, that's a more breakfasty thing.
Yeah.
Good. All right, well done, well done. Oh, is this more leftover?
It is.
All right, so, lunches. Wow, that's a big lunch. More sandwich, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's move on, Edmund, to your dinners. Here's more noodles, which we had down there, right at the start.
Scotch eggs and a pasta salad.
Scotch eggs and pasta salad, a few more chips. You're getting through an average of about 4,300 calories every day.
When you see it like that, it's confirms the reason why I'm here.
Thanks to his gigantic diet, Edmund is clocking up over 4,300 calories a day, which is getting on for double the daily intake required for a grown man.
So, it's diet swap time, and you now are officially swapped from this moment on, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
I'm
very nearly at the end of my epic search to find out if it's possible to turn an ordinary wobbly body like mine into a honed, taut, celebrity-perfect machine. And what a journey it's been. I have found a whole host of tips, tricks, quick fixes and tons of exercise to tone up every single inch of my body. And that is exhausting. First stop was the gym with my hunky personal trainer, Matt. But somehow the gym and I were never going to be best friends. I hated that. Hated it. So, along the way, I also had a go at all manner of other exercises to get myself looking lean and mean. One of my favourites was the new exercise craze that is Jacari. I did one. Do you know what? That might look really easy, but it was incredibly difficult. And then there was ballet. Now, don't pretend you weren't impressed.
And legs onto the bar. Arms in anchor on, reach up and lengthen the spine, and stretch over.
This is as far as I can go. I also tried a form of Pilates, which I thought would be gentle and relaxing. You see, when people talk about Pilates, I always think, whatever, a couple of toning exercises in front of some morning television, big deal. Not so with boot camp Pilates. It looked like medieval torture equipment, and it was honestly one of the hardest workouts I've ever had to do. I'm going to cry. Oh, it kills. Let's be honest, girls, those poses are not for the faint-hearted. If you've had a baby, you'll be used to it. I haven't, and I tell you, it was a shocker. On my quest to discover how to get the perfect celebrity body, I also witnessed the very latest and often fairly extreme treatments out there.
Wow! Yeah! It is definitely peachier.
Yep, an injectable buttock enlargement procedure. But it was actually a reduction on the breasts that really freaked me out. Really weird. Really, really weird. The conclusion I rapidly reached was that if it takes too much effort or looks too painful, it really ain't worth it. And hence I was delighted to discover a few quick fix solutions.
It's now 29 instead of 29 and a half.
It's I've lost half an inch! That's unbelievable.
That's it. Finished.
I'm very impressed. One session in, and we were saying, well, hopefully we'll see a difference.
And within 3 weeks, it will keep on improving.
Really?
Yeah.
However, I'm on my way back for more of one particular activity I discovered and fell in love with on my quest for bodily perfection. And later on, you'll see more of that. And more of me.
This week's feeding clinic residents are hectic food hater Louise and leftover king Eddie. It's dinner time and their first meal of the swap. Overeater Eddie doesn't disappoint with a mountain of chili con carne, which will keep Louise going for weeks.
I'm so sorry, Louise.
Stop.
While Louise gets enough food for 3, Eddie is getting just enough for 1 toddler.
Here's to the beginning of the end. Cheers.
Cheers.
How long would it take you to eat this normally?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Even while I was eating it, I was feeling hungrier and hungrier. Wasn't feeling like I was actually eating at all. There was no substance to it whatsoever.
But just a few minutes into her first meal, and Louise is ready to quit.
I'm finished.
It's beat you, has it?
Mm-hmm.
Louise gives her chili the cold shoulder without really giving it a go.
It was a struggle, it was. It's just made me feel sluggish and tired.